Hi guys, welcome back to how to run a freelance design business. This is lesson 3 before you start freelancing. So what are we going to learn today? We're going to look at everything you need to do before you start freelancing. So now you've decided that you're going to go freelance full time. You can just get started straight away, is that correct? Well no, you need to set yourself up with some sort of budget and or working capital. Whilst you have the opportunity, you need to start saving money. You might be able to do this by part-time freelancing, but you need to set aside finances for the following. You need to put money aside for your accountant and taxes. You need to set aside money for business formation and legalisation. It's generally recommended that you set aside 3 months safety or emergency budget, as well as funds for equipment if you do need it. And then also you'll need to get some projects lined up. So why do you do this now? Well, let's say you just went straight ahead, quit your job and started freelancing tomorrow, then you would run into some big problems. Because even if you were following along with this course, what if you don't get any clients for 6 months or a year? What if you think you have several projects penciled in, but one of them or all of them fall through? You're not going to have any sort of safety net or any way of being able to continue freelancing. So it's best to set aside money now that will help you be able to keep going. So yes, you can bootstrap this and you can adjust the amounts that we're going to talk about. Just make sure you are comfortable should the worst come to the worst and that your saving amounts are realistic. This is going to provide you with the lowest risk freelancing available. So let's think about accountants and taxes first. It's well worth at least chatting with an accountant before approaching any clients whatsoever. They can help you understand whether your business will have any government allowances or concessions, such as when purchasing equipment in the first year, as well as helping you set up proper bookkeeping practices, and they are able to advise you on all the details regarding this, as well as things like which bank account or bank accounts in general are going to suit you and your freelance business. You should set aside an appropriate amount for an hour or two with an accountant, or better yet, set aside enough money to employ them to manage your books and taxes. Many accountants can be paid up front, thus allowing you to know that your finances are going to be kept organised and well looked after. Accountants are worth their weight in gold when it comes to freelancing. Sometimes accountants might work on a skill swap basis, i.e. you design them a proper logo or build them a website in exchange for them filing your tax return for a year, but if you come to any conclusion like this, make sure you have some sort of contract in place. Also, remember the accountant might have offers like this 3 times a day, so be tactful and understanding, and if they prefer to collect a monetary fee, then that is their obvious choice. Based upon your accountant's advice, set aside funds for 1 year of accounting and also talk with them about how much you expect to earn in your first year. We'll discuss rates later on, but when setting aside cash for taxes, it's best to be on the safe side. Whilst you no longer may be paying or contributing part of your wage to things like pension schemes, local tax schemes and employee tax, you'll need to consider whether you should and what your local law requires from you in these areas, for example, national insurance or any other contributions. What about business formation and legalisation then? We'll be covering this in detail, but you'll need to set aside money for things like business formation and legalisation if you are wanting to start a limited company or a PTY company, or in America, an LLC company. Some online brokers offer a simple company setup service, so you might want to set aside money for that. And if you choose to use their service, again, an accountant will be able to help you decide on which company structure is going to best suit your design business. Some countries offer a sole trader style setup, which is essentially the most simple form of business with the least amount of paperwork, and often that is the easiest way to begin freelancing, but it does offer the least asset and legal protection. What about the 3 month safety or emergency budget then? Well, it's highly recommended to save at least, and the emphasis is on at least, 3 months rainy day money. This would be the total of all your expenses. Think about things like phone bills, mortgages, gas, food, and then some, just in case. The future is very uncertain, so having an amount set aside specifically in case your computer explodes and you can't do any work or your house burns down will prove very, very shrewd. The more you have stored away, the more you reduce the risk of freelancing. You could and you should have the means to set aside a year's expenses, but that's entirely up to you. What about things like equipment? If you don't have an office already and you need to convert one of the rooms in your house or part of your home into one, then you're going to need an office budget. You might choose to work in an out of home office, so set aside money to do that. And don't forget all the little things like stationery, desks, chairs, decoration. Also, you might need or want to upgrade your PC or Mac before you start freelancing, and things like software can prove very expensive, so planning ahead now while you have the means to upgrade is a good idea. Typically, these expenses, if being used solely for the business, can be claimed back from your tax, but do check your local laws on the matter, or better yet, just ask your accountant. Perhaps you already have everything in place, then that's great because you've just saved yourself a bundle of time, energy and money. Finally, before starting, it's a good idea to have projects lined up, or better yet, penned in, for example, for definite, further down the line. It's all well and good thinking that you have one website project, so I can just go ahead and quit my job. But having several projects over several months is going to offer you a good foundation to begin freelancing and also help you make your first year a profitable one. We'll discuss how to find clients later on in the course. So in today's lesson, we've talked about money, we've considered what you should be saving for before starting freelancing, and who to speak about setting up your design company. Your task for the lesson is to start calculating your monthly expenses and begin setting aside money to cover those for your chosen period. Also, find a good recommended accountant and have a chat with them, remembering that accountants are an investment. Next time on Running Your Own Freelance Design Business, we will be looking at formalising and paperwork. Thanks for listening.